after the last meeting, and he was, I thought maybe that went to everybody. He was fighting. He's sick. I don't know what he's got. It sounded like he was at war. He missed the meeting. He got in touch and said, I'm not going to make the meeting, but he had the wrong day too, because he gave that the week after. So I assume he's still fighting the same fight.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
The applicant's not on yet.
Right, the applicant, we need the applicant.
Yep.
Joe
O'Connor.
Okay.
My sisters have been they've been very thoughtful and very nice, like stopping by all the time. So I just texted them. I said, don't come blowing in here tonight. I'm on a Zoom meeting. Like every day, do you need anything? Do you need anything? I said, I'm set. You know, I can walk, I can talk, I can do what I need with one hand.
Who is that? Who's stopping by?
My sisters.
Oh.
But they're not stopping by.
Hey, Karen, the house that you sold down on Kings Lane, was that your sister's house?
Well, she sold it in 2016, so it was the second time around.
Oh.
Okay, all right. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals Monday, May 23rd Zoom meeting. We have one application on the agenda this evening, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. I'm going to let you all know that the agenda has been published online for tonight's meeting. And if you wish to participate via Zoom, because this is exclusively a Zoom meeting, we had one hybrid meeting. That was very exciting, and that was in April, and now we're back to Zoom all the time. At any rate, if you go to the agenda that is published online at the town's website, you will see the few ways that you can access this Zoom meeting if you wish to participate or follow it in that fashion. So first, what I'm going to do, now that I've called it into order, is we're going to go through the roll call. So first, I'll go through the obvious. So if you would, give me an affirmation by voice when I call your name.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
Okay.
So first, Kevin McDonald.
Here.
Karen Schlegel.
Here.
April Defoe.
Here.
James Fitzgerald is not here. Wayne Fessenden is not here. And Gordon Eyre is not here. However, we do have 4, and 4 constitutes a quorum, so we can proceed with the meeting. I will tell the applicant who's observing us at this time, and you'll join us later, Joanne, that per our rules, while we have a quorum, you need not a majority of the quorum to be approved, but you need a majority of the entirety of the board. So that's 4. So you'd need all 4 of us to vote in the affirmative. I'm just letting you know that as a matter of procedure. So on the agenda, you all notice that we have as item number 1, approval of the minutes of April 25, 2022. And I am rather confident that we did not receive a draft of the minutes of April 25, 2022. So is that everybody's mutual understanding?
Correct. We have not received them
We
yet.
haven't got the minutes, okay. So then we're going to move past that. I guess we don't need to table it, but technically I guess we'll table that until our next meeting, when I assume the minutes will be available. So then it brings us to the first substantive matter on our agenda this evening, which is the application, which I'm going to read as it is stated on the agenda. So it states as follows, item number 2, Joe O'Connor for approval to create residential rental accommodations within her existing single-family home at 35 School Street, Assessors Tax Map 9, Block 4, Lot 55 in the Village Residential Zone. So the way we're going to run this is I'm going to do it a little out of order. Normally, we would hear from the applicant. And then, Joe, do you wish to be called Joe? I assume so, of how you submitted this. So technically, your name is Joanne? No? It is Joe, okay. So, Joe, normally we would hear from the applicant, and then if any of us have questions with regard to the application, we'll ask you. And then you would step down and we would hear from the code enforcement at that time. And then we would open it up to anybody else who wished to participate in the public hearing, which I'm about to open. As you may know, the code enforcement office does not have a representative attending tonight's hearing, but this was anticipated. And so the code officer's deputy, Andrew Welch, performed an inspection of the applicant's property prior to this evening. And then he wrote up some of the findings that he had in the form of a letter, which will make a part of the record. But I think we'll put this into the agenda. We'll put this on record first, and then we'll go to the applicant. And I will read this into the record. So first I'm going to open the public hearing. So the public hearing is open. Now the first matter of the public hearing, which is a little bit of a reverse, is that we're going to hear from the code enforcement office first. So this is the letter. Just so you can, you can't see anything there. Sorry about that. So we have a letter. I honestly don't know if this is available online or not, but we can make it available online. And this is a letter that is addressed to the applicant, but it was copied to all of the board members. It's relating to the applicant, but it says, "Dear members of the board," it recites the map lot block, the owner of the property, and the address, 35 School Street. And then Andrew Welch writes as follows: "I'm ready to provide you with the findings of my inspection of 35 School Street, located in the village residential zone. On May 18th, 2022, I visited the property to perform a basic life and safety inspection to ensure the applicant's property meets the requirements of a roomer." I'll digress and say by roomer, we're looking at that as a residential rental accommodation. Those two names used to be interchangeable. Second paragraph: "The home has two main entrances and one exit, parenthetical, patio door, end parenthetical, that leads to the backyard area. The rental unit is located within the principal structure and does have plenty of off-street parking. The entrance located at the side of the building off the driveway leads into a mudroom. Once entering the mudroom, there is a door on the left that leads to the roomer unit and a door straight ahead that leads to the main unit's kitchen. It is my opinion that this meets the intent of a shared entrance as stated in the ordinance." Paragraph 3. "The unit's interior consists of a living room / sleeping room, parenthetical, studio apartment type configuration, end parenthetical, with a small mini fridge, television, etc. There was not any evidence of a kitchen sink, wet bar, or separate cooking facilities other than a small toaster and a coffee pot located within the unit. There was a 5 lb fire extinguisher next to the door where I would typically expect to see one. The living room had a working smoke / carbon monoxide detector. I tested the hot water and the GFCIs in the bathroom and found them to be compliant with building code. There was an interior door in the unit's bathroom that led directly into the shared kitchen on the principal unit. In conclusion, I believe that the property does meet the requirements of section, I'm inserting the word section, 240-7.14. Last paragraph. Please call the office at 207-967-1602 with any questions or to set up an appointment to discuss the matter. Sincerely, Andrew Welch, Deputy Code Enforcement Officer, Town of Kennebunkport. I think that I deserve a drink of water after reading that. Okay, so board members, do any of you have any questions with regard to Andrew's writing? No.
Nope. I had no questions.
Okay, give me
No
a no.
questions, but just thankful that he was efficient to go out ahead of time, so we could keep the
Very,
meeting
very
going.
thankful for that. And he wrote a nice letter or opinion. So now we're going to, I'm going to ask that Joe be brought on to up as a participant, I guess, whatever the word is. And then Joe, once you're acknowledged as being up, you can introduce yourself. And then you can tell us kind of like what your plan is and address anything that you find relevant. And then when you're done, if we have any questions, we'll ask them of you. Okay, so can you bring Joe up? I see that she's still muted. Oh, you need to unmute yourself, Joe. There you go.
Hi there.
Okay, so introduce yourself, Joe, and then take it away.
I'm Joe O'Connor, and I actually know 3 of you pretty well. Sorry, Paul, I don't know you. So hi, Kevin. Hi, Karen. Hi, April.
You know the important people. That's what counts.
Come on, you're running this show. Thank you so much for your time. I feel so honored that I'm the one and only agenda item. I taught on Monday nights at UNE, so I could never make a Monday until the semester was over. So I really do thank you for this accommodation. Let's see, my family's been in this house for 7 generations. I'm a part of the McCabe family, and I have the original house. And since I bought it in 1998, I've been doing major improvements since I moved back from Boston. I now work full-time in Maine with about 800 million jobs. I teach at every school that there is to teach. And I'm really so happy to be a town member of Kennebunkport. I work for Kennebunkport. I teach Zumba, and I'm in a band called the Dock Squares. And I just really love Kennebunkport. I love doing stuff for the town and just getting out there and being a vibrant member. So again, thank you for your time tonight. And want to let you know for 6 years, I have a separate part of the house that's attached to the house that's like an in-law suite. So I'm one of 12 kids. So you can imagine, even in the 4-bedroom, I always have people in and out of here. And then about 6 years ago, when Airbnb became the thing and I needed to get an extra revenue stream, I just decided when there weren't any regulations to start renting out on weekends in July and August. And that was great the first year, great all the subsequent years. And I really like hosting people to really come and be tourists in our town and to come back. I've got a good repeat visitor response. It's been a wonderful thing for me. I'm even considered a super host. You get ranked that on the accommodations that you do. I really have what amounts to be a 1 small bedroom. I know Andrew referred to it as a studio, but it's a rather large 20 by 10 living room that's got a pull-out couch, and then a separate that has French doors, little bedroom with a full bathroom, and 3 different entrances in which to get in as a matter of safety. One through the primary entrance, through the mudroom. One is through the garage, although I got to get my act together because my garage is starting to get ready for a yard sale. And then there's doors that go out to the backyard that don't face Route 9. So nobody sees that except for the summer renters that I have in here. I would love to be strongly considered as a roomer. This is an extra stream of money as I'm a teacher, and this is kind of like my summer revenue stream. I've had great success with no complaints, or that I'm aware of ever, because I really have the school, my cousin's land, 5 cemeteries, and the backyard, which is now known by the town. So I don't really have that many neighbors. These neighbors that I have, I'm very friendly with. So I'd like to strongly be considered as a roomer. Rumor has it, I'd like to be a roomer.
Okay, all right, thank you. April, do you have any, Joe, did you have anything else? That was very good. Thank you for your
I think that's my dog and pony.
All right,
I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
That was a very good dog and pony show.
Thank you.
So let's start with April. Do you have anything, April? Questions?
Are you aware that you can only rent one time per week?
Yes, yes, I am aware of that.
Okay,
Airbnb actually has some restrictions as well. So I'm very compliant with that. That means basically, April, it looks like long weekends is what ends up amounting to this.
okay. I just wanted to, because some people don't understand that, like if you rented it out Monday and Tuesday, and then those people left, you couldn't again rent it out Friday and Saturday, because that's two different people in the same week.
Yep. No,
Yeah.
I'm aware of that.
Wow.
It ends up being rentals and on the weekend. And when somebody have a request, I say, can we do 3 days because I have a restriction? So I was aware of that, April.
Okay, and are you aware that you're not allowed to have a sign?
I have no sign.
That,
Yep.
okay, that's good. You have enough parking.
Plenty.
Is the unit all, do you pay the utilities all in for
Yeah.
that unit? It's
Yeah.
not separate utilities.
Nope, it's not separately zoned. I pay heat, hot water, Wi-Fi, so it's just a straight flat fee.
Okay. All right, I guess those are my questions.
Thank you, April. Karen?
Just for technicality on the application, when the application was received, we didn't get the first page of the assessing card and we didn't get a copy of the deed. But I printed off.
April actually gave me all of that and then had me copy all of that. So I'm sorry, I can send
Well,
you.
that's okay. Like I got the deed myself and I printed out the assessor's card, but we also didn't get anything mailed to us. Not your fault. I think just mail timing. I never got mine mailed to me. Did any of you?
Oh,
I did receive mine at the end. I did.
Yeah, I
get
got
mine.
Got mine too.
there were 7 that were mailed out. Sorry, Karen, I could have
Well,
hand delivered yours.
I just, April sends us, April's in the town sends us one anyway. Okay, so no big deal.
Way too confusing to have two Aprils.
I know.
Yeah, but the more Aprils, the better, right? Right?
I suppose, because we're all so wonderful.
Karen, anything else from you?
Nothing. Nope.
Kevin?
I have no questions. I think I'm all set.
Okay, now the code enforcement officer said that he felt that the entrance, in my opinion, that this meets the intent of a shared entrance as stated in the ordinance. And when you were just talking, we had 3 entrance doors. So I just want to go over that briefly. So you share a common entrance that's kind of near the driveway. And that's the primary entrance for the unit. And then the rear access that you're talking about is from the unit itself.
Yeah, and
So
it goes to
if-
the backyard.
Right, so that is not, but I would assume that since you're only allowed, I'll read you the language in the ordinance. The rooms occupied by the roomers do not have a separate entrance from the outside. So I'm going to assume that the access there that you're talking about is really just an emergency egress for the roomer to go outside. It's not to be used as an entrance to come inside because you already have.
I already have an entrance.
One.
And when I talked to Werner about this, when short term came up and then rumor came up, and I said, I got 2. Do you want me to block off that? And he said, and I quote, please don't do that. That's a safety thing. I also talked about that with Andrew, and that's why I think, I can't put words in his mouth, but in the letter, when he said that that's backyard exit, and then I just recounted about the safety factor that there are egresses, and please don't block that off.
That's right. So we want you to, so you're confirming that you have a shared entrance and that there may be 1 or 2 other doors essentially from the unit, but those are for egress. Not
Egress, yeah.
access. They're egress only, right?
Right, so my
That's what
garage
we-
is just, yeah,
No,
my
we don't-
garage is awful, so I
Yeah, no,
just
we
don't
want-
really want people going through my garage.
Yeah, no, we
Unless,
want-
God
we
forbid,
want
they
you to-
need to.
We want you to keep them as egresses. We just want you to make
Okay.
clear that they're not accesses to your
Yeah.
residential rooms. Okay, that was one. And then on the deed that I didn't get the deed in my packet. So technically, when we go over the application, there's a requirement to show that, well, there's a reference to the deed, but it's only the deed information. When we do our findings, we need to make reference to the deed, the date, the recording data at the registry, but that's all accessible to us in this packet on the first page of the assessor's card. And there are actually,
Did you get the first page of the assessor's card? Because I did.
well, this
I
is
did.
page, yeah,
Okay.
I got 2 pages of the assessor's card.
Yeah, me too.
So on that, there are, under record of ownership, Joe, you got 3 deeds technically coming into you. So a lot of people do some movement like that. So the original deed that you made reference to is, was from 1998. And that we have the date in the book and the page of that. There was a second deeding in 2001, and then there was a third deeding in 2015. So for the purposes of this hearing and the consideration of approval, I'm gonna suggest to our secretary, when we are doing this, that we make reference to the most current deed into Joe for the property, which is dated May 7, 2015.
Well, that's a little bit of clarification. The book and page is correct. But when you look at the deed itself, because I pulled it off the registry, we've got a date of March 31, 2014. So that's.
Oh,
the
is this
date
a
of-
recording date? Look at the recording information on the deed that you have in hand. Look up in the upper right.
It recorded on May 7, 2015, but.
Okay, so we're gonna not use that date. We're gonna use not the recording date. We will use the date of execution,
So that's the March 31, 2014.
3/31/14. 3.
March 31, 2014 was the signature date.
So that's the date of conveyance.
And then the only other thing, town record shows book 17013, page 526.
That's correct.
Recorded page says 527.
Well, on the first page
Oh,
of that,
26 to 27, yes.
right, so that's fine too. So I'm making a note that while we want to remind future packaging that all deeds be included, or the primary deed be included, I'm satisfied that proof of ownership by the applicant is established by the reference to the 3 deeds in the tax assessor's card. Is everybody in agreement with that analysis?
Yes.
Verbal, Mr. McDonald, verbal.
I said yes.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, does anybody else have a question for the applicant? All right, then, Joe, I'm just gonna have you step down for a minute. You stay right there, but we're gonna disconnect you from the, we'll speak unless we have questions for you, okay? And then
Perfect,
we'll
thank
bring
you, Paul.
back. Now I'm gonna ask fabulous technician at North Street, do we have anybody in any waiting room that wishes to participate? Very good. So now that we have heard from the code office via a letter, an opinion letter, and now that we have heard from the applicant, and now that we have established that there's no one else here in the waiting room to participate in the Zoom, that I'm going to, at this time, close the public hearing, but I'm going to reserve the right to reopen it to the extent that if we have any questions for the applicant. Otherwise, we've closed the public hearing. So now we are talking amongst ourselves. What I'd like to do before we do any kind of voting is just walk through I'm not going to read all of the sections of 714, 240-714, the residential rental accommodation section. But under B is where all kickoffs are, but I want to just go through them one at a time just to make sure that we have all gotten adequate evidence with regard to these. And that adequate evidence is what has been submitted by the applicant, as well as what was submitted by the deputy code enforcement officer. So first, there's no separate kitchen or cooking facilities that are provided for use by the roomers. I think that's been established by the applicant's testimony, but also by the observations of the code enforcement office. Yes, everybody?
Agreed.
Correct, agreed.
Next, no sign is located on the premises advertising. And for the testimony, that's what we got from April's question. Next, that no alteration or change of the dwelling unit in its exterior appearance is made to accommodate the presence of the roomers. And that's on my understanding. There is no, because there's no evidence of any kind of change to the dwelling unit. The fourth, which is rare, because usually the inspection occurs by the code officer after approval, but we've got a pre-approval inspection, which I'm quite fine with. Is everybody satisfied with that? Meaning that requirement number 4, B4?
Oh, good.
5, the rooms occupied by the roomers do not have a separate entrance from the outside. I think we've established that there is a singular shared entrance and then up to 2 emergency exits that are only exits, they're only egresses, they are not accesses, correct? Very good.
Agreed.
The rooms occupied by the roomers are within the principal structure. I think our sketch points that out, as does the testimony of the applicant. Yes, everybody?
Yes.
The roomers use utilities that are not separately metered from those of the main dwelling, and that was affirmed by the question of April and the applicant's answer. Off-street parking is adequate pursuant to the ordinance, which is section 240-610F. And we've been told by the code office that there is adequate parking, and the applicant has confirmed her concurrence with the code office that there is adequate parking. And that the owner of the residential rental accommodation shall remain in the residence while the rooms are being rented. So that's one thing that we're getting an affirmation head nod from the applicant that yes, she does reside in the place that she is also renting out rooms. And she did say that while this was seasonal to her before, it is now permanent and has been for a period of time. So where I think that before we move on to the next group, I would like to entertain a motion that based on the testimony of the applicant and the opinion letter of the code enforcement officer and the applicant's submission, that the application and the applicant meet all of the standards established under section 240-714 sub B, subs 1 through 9. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? I'm going to have to do this verbally since we're on Zoom. So all in favor of the motion? April?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And I also approve. So that's unanimous. That's 4. And that also meets the criteria of getting a majority of the membership of the board being 7.
Hey, Paul, I have one comment.
Yes, please.
I must say, I really like the architectural firm who did the schematics of the home. So that I'm just wanted to make that comment.
Well, I would note that Mr. McDonald is an engineer, so he would have a higher appreciation of such technical drawings.
Very nicely
Also than
done.
I'm a man of liberal arts. I think that that's pretty much what we need to, there's nothing on the, you guys agree, there's nothing on the 714C that we need to go, no. No, these are just typical, once approval is granted. The approval is contingent upon those things that the ordinance so states if we do approve this application. So it seems to me that at this time I would entertain a motion that based on everything that's been presented and referenced so far and based on our prior vote on the conformance with section B 1 through 9, that this application for residential rumor application be approved. Do I hear such a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion needed, then I will take a vote. We're going to do this verbally. April,
Yes.
Karen Schlegel,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
and I as chair also agree. Therefore, we've approved your application, Joe.
Yay.
Yay, congratulations. So you have that. So that ends our immediate review of this application. Thank you, Joe. We got a couple more things to do, but thanks a lot. We'll get an opinion together and we'll get it out to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sorry that I had to do a separate meeting, but I appreciate everything you do. I'll get you for that comment, Kevin.
I thought they were
Thank
good.
you, guys.
Okay, we will not recognize that as a threat made against a member of the board. I said we
Bye,
will.
guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome.
So, Karen, I don't know if you have the template there.
I've
I
already,
just want to note, so we've agreed on the template that we'll use that date of execution,
okay,
3/31/14, and then we will use the deed reference. We only need reference to the first page in when I'm doing the book and page, so that's 526.
on the deed reference, should I make deed dated March, record in the registry of deeds on May?
You can, but you don't need to.
Okay,
But
just
you
so the May 2015 date would match the assessment.
yeah, no, actually, that's a good idea. I think you
Yeah.
should do that so that we're referred. And then in the second section, when we're talking about the property, make sure that we get in village residential zone
Got
as
that.
opposed to free enterprise district.
Yep.
And then the rest, you know how to work with, and then I'll look at your draft when completed. We'll strike. We'll make sure we reduce the number of participants because we had 4 as opposed to 5 at our last hearing. And I think we could note under 4 where it has a shall be inspected.
Right.
We could change
Include the
that.
letter, include the letter as an exhibit A.
Yes, and I think you could use the same language here, but say has been inspected, and I'll tweak whatever else and make reference to the
And
letter.
let's
that
say
was
see exhibit A, letter attached or something.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Just looking over my stuff, guys, I think that's, anybody have anything else? Okay, so.
Next meeting, we'll have 2 minutes.
Next meeting, we'll have 2 minutes, if they get done in time, yes. We have nothing, I don't know of any applications that are pending at this time. I usually get a heads up and I haven't had a heads up. Anybody had a heads up on any other applications that are pending?
Oh,
Okay, very good. I just want to, I'll close on a note that I think Kevin and I are looking more and more alike as time goes on. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Second,
All in favor, April,
Yes.
Karen,
yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
and myself, yes. So this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Thank you
Thank you.
for all your excellent technical assistance out there. And that's it for tonight, folks. So long.
Bye, everybody. Till next.
Bye.
All right, good night.